The colony was quiet that night, but the silence was not peaceful. It was heavy, filled with fear, the kind that made people avoid certain roads, certain doors, certain eyes. Everyone knew why. Everyone whispered about her, the wild alien woman who could not be tamed. She was tall for her kind, her skin a deep shade of violet with glowing patterns across her arms that shimmered like fire when she was angry, her hair long, silver, uncombed, wild like her spirit, her eyes sharp, glowing faintly even in the dark. Some said she was a curse. Others said she was punishment. No one dared come near her unless forced. The colony guards kept her in chains, but the chains did not look like they held her. They looked like they feared her, for even when bound, she stood proud. She looked straight into their eyes, and they looked away. No whip, no order, no threat had ever broken her. Children were told not to speak her name. Elders warned travelers to never look her in the eye. Merchants crossed the street when she was dragged past. Yet still, she never bowed, never begged, never wept. The wildest alien woman, untamable, unbroken. On that day, a human arrived. His name was Marcus, broad shoulders, travel-worn coat, boots covered in red dust from the far plains. He was not the kind to flinch at whispers, not the kind to step back when warned. His eyes scanned the market until they stopped on her. She was being paraded through the square, guards dragging her chains, the people watching like it was entertainment. They spat words at her, savage, beast, curse. She did not answer them. She only stood still, chest rising, eyes burning, her pride louder than their insults. Marcus stopped walking, his boots planted firm on the cracked stone. He did not speak, but his eyes met hers. For a moment the whole square seemed to fall silent, the air tight, the sound of the chains the only noise. The alien woman tilted her head, her lips curled, not in weakness, but in challenge. It was as if she was asking him without words, "Are you like the rest? Will you mock me too? Will you chain me tighter?" Marcus did not look away, and that alone made the crowd murmur. No one met her gaze, not even the guards who held her chains. Yet here was a human stranger, staring straight into her burning eyes without fear. The leader of the colony stepped forward, his voice loud, filled with false pride. "This beast cannot be tamed," he declared. "We will rid ourselves of her before she brings more ruin." The crowd cheered, but Marcus did not cheer. His silence spoke louder. The alien woman's hands clenched against the steel cuffs. Her eyes never left Marcus. There was no fear in her stare, only fire, only defiance. Marcus felt something stir in his chest. He had seen war. He had seen raiders burn villages. He had seen broken men and broken women. But never had he seen someone chained, and yet still so free. The leader raised his hand, giving the order. The guards pulled tighter on her chains. She was dragged forward, her knees scraping against stone. But even then she refused to cry out. She raised her chin, eyes blazing like stars. Marcus took a step forward, and the crowd gasped. He was not one of them, not bound by their fear. Yet he was moving toward the untamable alien woman, the one they all called monster. The guards shouted, "Stay back, human, she will tear you apart." But Marcus kept walking, slow, steady. The alien woman tilted her head again, her lips twitching into something that almost looked like a smile. Then, without warning, she moved, her chains clattering as she lunged forward. The guards pulled hard to stop her. The crowd screamed. Some ran, some hid. Marcus did not move. His boots stayed planted on the stone. The alien woman stopped just inches from him, her breath hot against his face, her violet eyes glowing brighter now, her silver hair falling wild around her. She did not strike. She did not tear. She only stared at him, deep, searching, as if trying to see into his very soul. The square fell into silence again. The guards froze, unsure what would happen next. Marcus did not blink. He did not flinch. He only stood still and met her gaze, the air so tense it felt like it might break. The wildest alien woman could not be tamed. But in that moment, with chains rattling and the crowd holding its breath, something else happened, something none of them expected. For the first time, she did not pull away. She did not fight. She simply stood, still as stone, her eyes locked on the human who dared to look back. And in that silence, the story truly began. The guards yanked hard on the chains, dragging the alien woman back. their faces pale, their hands trembling. They had seen her lunge before, and usually blood followed. But this time no blood spilled, only silence. Marcus stood unmoving, his heart steady, his eyes calm, while the colony gasped in disbelief. How could the wildest alien woman stop her fury just inches from a man she had never seen? The leader shouted, anger covering his unease. Do not be fooled. She is a beast. She plays games before she kills. The crowd nodded. Some even shouted curses again. Yet their voices lacked the same strength, for they had seen what happened, or rather, what had not happened. The alien woman straightened her back, her silver hair falling across her sharp face. Her eyes locked on Marcus as if no one else existed. The guards jerked her chains again, but she refused to break her stare. Marcus spoke at last, his voice low but carrying across the square. She does not look like a beast to me. The words struck the crowd harder than any weapon. Whispers spread, disbelief burned in their throats. The alien woman tilted her head, a slow movement, her lips curling just slightly, a half smile, or maybe a test. Her glowing eyes narrowed as if to see if Marcus truly meant what he said. The leader barked orders. Take her away. Lock her deeper. She cannot be allowed to trick outsiders. The guards pulled hard. The chains scraped against the stone, but she resisted, her feet heavy, her gaze still fixed on Marcus. Marcus did not move, but inside he felt a pull stronger than the crowd's fear, stronger than the guards' chains. He had fought wars, lost friends, seen cruelty, but this moment felt different. It felt like a crossroad. The alien woman's chest rose with each sharp breath, but her eyes, those burning violet eyes, softened for a heartbeat. It was not weakness, no. It was something else, a question hidden behind fire, a plea without words. That night Marcus could not sleep. Her image haunted him. The way she stood proud though chained. The way she stared at him as though he alone was different, as though he alone had the power to change something. The next day, while the colony prepared her judgment, Marcus found himself walking to the holding cells. The guards sneered at him, warning, "You will not last a minute near her. Human, she will kill you if you step too close." But Marcus did not listen. The cell was dark, carved into stone, the chains hooked to the wall. She was there, crouched like a predator waiting, her silver hair covering part of her face, her violet eyes glowing in the shadows. As Marcus stepped inside, the door clanged shut behind him. The guards grinned, expecting screams, expecting blood, but Marcus did not scream. He stood tall, meeting her gaze once more. The alien woman rose slowly, her chains rattling like thunder, each step deliberate, her eyes sharp, testing him again. She circled him like a hunter, close enough that her breath touched his skin, but never striking. "Why do you not fear me?" she asked at last, her voice low, rough, almost broken, yet powerful, the first words he had ever heard from her lips. Marcus answered simply, "Because I see strength, not madness." Her eyes widened, not in weakness, but in shock. No one had ever spoken to her like that. No one had ever seen her as more than a beast. Her lips trembled for a moment, though she masked it quickly with a growl. The guards outside leaned in, straining to hear. Their whispers filled the hall. She speaks to him. Inside, the air thickened. Marcus and the alien woman stood face to face, predator and prey, though it was no longer clear who was which. She leaned closer, her violet eyes burning, her voice a whisper. "If you lie, I will tear you apart." Marcus did not blink. "Then test me." The chains rattled once more as she stopped inches away, her breath hot, her pride unbroken, and yet for the first time, the wildest alien woman did not strike. She only watched, her fire meeting his calm. And in that silent storm, the beginning of something no one in the colony could have imagined was born. The morning came with heavy clouds above the colony. The air was thick, restless, as if even the sky knew something was about to change. The square was full. People gathered to see the judgment of the alien woman. The leader of the colony stood tall, his voice proud and cold. "This beast has brought nothing but fear. Today we end her defiance once and for all." The crowd cheered. Though their voices were not as strong as before, there was unease in their eyes, whispers of what they had seen yesterday, whispers of how she stopped before the human. The alien woman was dragged forward, her wrists bound in heavy chains, her steps slow but steady, her head unbowed, her violet eyes shining like fire under storm clouds. Every insult, every curse from the crowd seemed to bounce off her. She was unbroken. Marcus stood among the people, his jaw tight, his fists clenched. He had not come to watch her die. He had come because something inside told him he could not walk away. When the leader raised his hand to give the order, Marcus stepped forward, his voice cutting through the noise. "Stop." The crowd fell silent. All eyes turned to him, some with confusion, some with anger, some with fear. The leader narrowed his eyes. "Outsider, do not meddle. This creature is dangerous. She cannot be saved." Marcus's voice was steady. "She is not a beast. She is a person. She deserves mercy." The words struck the crowd like lightning. Gasps rose. Murmurs spread. The alien woman tilted her head. Her eyes locked on him again. There was fire in them, but also something softer, hidden deep. The leader laughed harshly. "Mercy? You ask for mercy on the untamable. She would kill you the moment her chains are gone." Marcus walked forward, slow, steady, each step echoing in the square. "Then let her test me," he said, his eyes never leaving the alien woman's. The guards raised their weapons, shouting, "You will be torn apart." But Marcus ignored them. He reached for the chains, his hands gripping cold iron. The crowd gasped. Some even shouted for him to stop. The alien woman stood still, her breath quick, her body tense, her eyes searching his face, looking for weakness, looking for lies. And then, with a single motion, Marcus unlocked the chains. The sound of breaking metal rang across the square. The chains fell to the ground with a heavy clang, dust rising around her feet. The alien woman stood free for the first time in years, her arms lifted slightly, as if testing the air itself, her silver hair falling loose across her shoulders. The crowd screamed, panic surged. Some ran, some hid, some grabbed stones to throw, but Marcus did not move. He stood firm, facing her without fear. The alien woman looked at him, her eyes blazing, her chest rising fast. Every instinct screamed that she should strike, that she should tear, that she should prove them right. Her hands twitched, her claws sharp. The guards braced for blood. The leader shouted, "Now you see his foolishness. She will kill him." But she did not. She took one step closer, her breath harsh, her claws hovering near his chest. Marcus stood still, calm as stone, his voice quiet but steady. "You are free. No chains, no cage, no whip, no master." The alien woman froze, her claws trembling in the air. Her violet eyes flickered, fire clashing with something deeper, something long buried. Her lips parted, but no words came, only a sound caught between anger and sorrow. The crowd held its breath. The world seemed to stop. Then slowly, very slowly, she lowered her hand. She did not strike. She did not run. Instead, she turned her face to the side, eyes burning, and for the first time, she looked less like a beast and more like someone remembering what it meant to be alive. Marcus took a step back, giving her space. He did not push her. He did not bind her again. He only stood with her, the chains lying broken at her feet. The leader's voice trembled with fury. "You fool! You have doomed us all." But the people did not cheer with him. Their voices were quiet, their eyes wide, for they had just seen the untamable alien woman freed, and she had not killed. The alien woman turned her eyes back to Marcus, her fire still burning, but behind it was something else, something the crowd could not name, and without a word, she took a single step to stand beside him. The crowd gasped louder than before, and in that moment, the story of mercy began to change everything. That night the colony was restless. Whispers spread through every narrow street. The human freed her, the untamable one. Some spoke in fear, others in awe, but none dared say it too loud. The leader's rage burned hotter than fire, yet the people's eyes now carried doubt. Marcus did not sleep. He sat inside the old cabin given to travelers, its walls thin, its lantern weak. Across the small room sat the alien woman, unchained, silent, her back straight, her violet eyes never leaving him. She did not ask why he freed her. She did not thank him. She only watched, like a predator waiting to decide if the prey was worth sparing. Marcus kept calm, his voice steady. "You are free now. No one will touch you while I breathe." Her lips curled slightly, not in kindness, but in challenge. "And if I decide to tear your throat?" she asked, her voice low, sharp. Marcus did not flinch. "Then I will bleed knowing I gave you a chance." The alien woman tilted her head, her silver hair slipping over her shoulder. Her violet eyes narrowed. There was fire in them, but also confusion. She had been called beast, curse, monster, but never given a chance, never shown mercy without a chain waiting behind it. Hours passed, the night deepened. She remained awake, her senses sharp. When Marcus drifted into light sleep, she still watched him, testing, measuring, waiting. Then came the sound, faint at first, like footsteps on gravel. Marcus stirred, but the alien woman was already on her feet, her movements smooth, silent. She slipped to the door, claws ready, eyes glowing faint in the dark. Outside, shadows crept near the cabin. Raiders, 3 of them, blades glinting under the moonlight. They whispered of killing the human and taking the alien woman for themselves. Before Marcus could rise fully, the alien woman struck. The door burst open. Her body moved like lightning, claws flashing. A raider screamed as she knocked him into the dirt. Another raised his blade, but her hand caught his wrist. Bones cracked. His weapon clattered. The third tried to run, but her glowing eyes caught him. She leapt, her roar tearing the night. He fell silent in the dust. Marcus rushed outside, his eyes wide. But he did not see a beast. He saw a warrior, unchained and furious, her chest rising, her silver hair wild, her claws dripping with the proof of her strength. When it was over, she turned to Marcus, her breath sharp, her violet eyes blazing. "They came for you," she said, her voice low, rough, but something inside it sounded like a warning, like a promise. Marcus nodded slowly. "And you stopped them." Her lips pressed tight. She looked away, her claws trembling slightly. She had not killed to prove she was wild. She had killed to protect, though the truth of it burned inside her like a secret she could not admit. The people of the colony came running. They saw the bodies. They saw her standing unchained, her claws red. They whispered in terror, "She is free. She is killing again." But Marcus stepped forward, his voice loud, steady. "She saved me. She saved this colony. Those were raiders, not innocents. Without her, we would be burying our own." The people hesitated. Some lowered their eyes, doubt growing stronger than fear. The leader clenched his fists, his fury boiling. "Do not be fooled," he roared. "She is still a beast, and now she has tricked you all." The alien woman's eyes narrowed, her breath sharp. She was ready to fight again, ready to rip chains. But Marcus placed his hand lightly on her arm. She froze, shocked by the touch. No one had dared touch her without force, without cruelty. His voice was calm. "Not here, not now, trust me." The alien woman's chest rose and fell. Her claws flexed, her eyes searched his face. And for the first time, she stepped back, not from fear, not from defeat, but because she chose to listen. That night, back in the cabin, she sat near the window, the moonlight painting silver across her skin. Marcus spoke softly. "You do not need to fight alone anymore." Her voice was a whisper, almost unheard. "I always fight alone." Marcus shook his head. "Not anymore." For a long moment, she said nothing. Only her glowing eyes watched him, fire still there, but behind it, something fragile, something waiting to be believed. And in that fragile silence, the bond began. By dawn, the colony was buzzing like a hive. News of the night spread faster than fire. The alien woman fought raiders. She killed to protect. She stood beside the human. The whispers grew in every corner. Some spoke with fear, some with awe, but no one could ignore it. Merchants looked over their shoulders. Mothers pulled children close. Guards sharpened their blades. Yet beneath the fear was doubt. If she was truly only a beast, why did she not kill the human? Why did she fight to save him? Marcus walked openly through the market, his steps firm, his face calm. The alien woman walked beside him, unchained, her head high, her glowing eyes scanning the crowd, her silver hair shining under the morning sun. The sight made hearts race. No one had ever seen her free without chains. No one had seen her choose to walk beside anyone. The leader's fury burned hotter than the desert sun. He stood before the council, his voice sharp. This human has poisoned their minds. The beast walks freely, and they begin to see her as one of us. This cannot be allowed. The council members shifted uneasily, some nodding, some silent, their eyes clouded with doubt. Meanwhile, children peeked from windows, whispering, "She saved him." Elders muttered, "Perhaps she is more than a curse." The whispers spread until the colony itself seemed divided, half clinging to fear, half daring to hope. Inside the small cabin, Marcus and the alien woman sat across from each other, silence heavy between them. He sharpened a blade carefully. She watched, her eyes unblinking. Her voice finally broke the quiet. "They hate me. They always will." Marcus looked up, his voice steady. "Some will, but not all. They saw you fight last night. They saw your strength used to protect, not destroy." Her jaw tightened. Her claws tapped the table. "Strength is all they see. Beast or weapon, never more." Marcus leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. "Then let them see more. Let them see who you are when you are not bound, when you are not forced." The alien woman's eyes narrowed, a storm swirling inside them. She wanted to believe, but years of chains, of curses, of whips echoed louder than his words. Yet still, something in her chest stirred. Later that day, the leader made his move. He gathered men, both human and alien, their eyes filled with fear and greed. He spoke with venom. "She is dangerous. She will turn on us. Tonight we take her. Tonight we end this false mercy." As the sun dipped low, shadows stretched across the colony. Marcus sensed unease in the air. The alien woman too felt it, her ears twitching, her claws flexing. She stood by the window, her voice cold. "They come for me." Marcus tightened his grip on his blade, his voice quiet but strong. "Then they will find I do not let go so easily." The alien woman turned to him, her violet eyes sharp, searching. "Why? Human, why risk death for me?" Marcus met her gaze without flinching. "Because no one deserves to be treated like less than human, not even if they are not human." Her breath caught, her heart pounded. Those words burned through her walls like fire. No one had spoken to her like that. No one had called her more than beast or weapon. Outside, footsteps gathered, the leader's men closing in, whispers rising like a storm, torches flickering in the night. Inside, silence held. Marcus and the alien woman stood shoulder to shoulder, unchained, unbroken, ready. And as the first knock thundered on the cabin door, the bond they had begun would be tested in fire. The knock on the cabin door thundered like war drums. Marcus rose with his blade in hand. The alien woman's violet eyes narrowed, her claws flexing. Outside, voices shouted, "Open, or we break it down." The door burst open before Marcus could answer. The leader stood tall, his men behind him, torches in their fists, fear and hate in their eyes. "This ends tonight," the leader roared. "No beast will live free among us." The men stormed inside, weapons drawn. Marcus stood in their path, his voice steady. "She saved this colony. She fought raiders while you hid. She deserves respect, not chains." The leader sneered. "You are blind. Human, she has bewitched you. She will tear us apart when her hunger grows." The alien woman stepped forward, her silver hair wild, her violet eyes glowing. "If I wished you dead, you would already lie in the dust." Her voice cut like a blade. The men faltered, their feet shifting, yet fear made them bold again. Suddenly ropes flew, hooks latched onto her arms. She roared, claws slashing. Chains clattered as they tried to bind her again. Marcus fought to reach her, his blade clashing against spears. Shouts filled the night. "Traitor!" one guard screamed, striking Marcus across the back. Blood ran, but Marcus did not fall. He swung fiercely, cutting a path, yet more men swarmed. The alien woman tore free from one rope, her claws dripping, but another snared her neck. She gagged, fury burning in her chest. She looked to Marcus, her eyes blazing with a question, a doubt. Had he led her into this trap? For a heartbeat her heart cracked. The old voice of chains returned. "No one frees you. No one shows mercy. All betray." Marcus shouted, his voice hoarse. "No, I did not betray you. Fight them, not me." His words carried through the chaos, but her breath was ragged, her vision burning red. The leader raised his hand. "End the beast. spears thrust forward. Marcus stepped in front of her, his arms spread, the steel pierced his coat, blood welled, but still he did not move. The alien woman's roar split the air. She ripped the ropes apart, fury exploding. Her claws slashed through wood, stone, and flesh alike. Men screamed. Torches fell. The cabin shook with the storm of her rage. When the dust settled, broken bodies lay scattered. The leader staggered back, terror on his face. But the alien woman did not finish him. She turned instead to Marcus, her chest heaving, her claws trembling. Blood ran from his side, his face pale, yet his eyes steady. "I would never betray you," he whispered. Her eyes burned with fire and tears she refused to shed. She stared at him long and hard. Then, without a word, she turned, her silver hair whipping like a banner. She leapt into the night, disappearing into the dark wilds. The people of the colony came running. They saw the wreckage, the blood, the broken door, the wounded human kneeling, and they saw no alien woman, only empty shadows. The leader spat through his trembling lips. "She has left you. Human, your mercy has cost you everything." Marcus fell to his knees, his blade slipping from his hand, his blood soaking the dust, but his heart hurt more than his wounds, not because she had left, but because in her eyes, for one burning moment, he saw she believed he betrayed her. And that wound cut deeper than any spear. Days passed. The colony grew heavy with silence. Marcus moved slowly through its streets, his body still wounded, his heart heavier than his scars. People looked at him with mixed eyes, some filled with pity, some with blame, some with quiet awe. The leader spread his poison words. "The beast has gone. She has abandoned him. His mercy was weakness. His blood was wasted." But the whispers of the people no longer held only fear. Some remembered the night she fought raiders. Some remembered the way she stood beside the human. Marcus stayed near the edge of the colony, his cabin now half broken from the attack. He sharpened his blade each night, though he did not expect to survive another raid. He spoke little, yet his eyes carried a fire. "If she never returns, I will still stand. I will still keep my promise." Then the day came. Smoke rose on the horizon. Raiders, more than before, stronger, fiercer. The colony panicked. Bells rang. People cried out. "We cannot hold them. We are doomed." The leader shouted orders, but his voice shook with fear. Marcus stepped forward, weak from wounds but unyielding in spirit, his blade steady in his hands. "Then I will fight alone if I must," he said, his eyes calm as stone. The raiders stormed the gates, their cries filling the sky, weapons flashing, fire spreading. The colony trembled. And then, a sound cut through the chaos, a roar, deep and wild, yet not filled with hatred, filled with strength, filled with fire. The people turned, and their eyes widened. From the dark edge of the wild she came, the alien woman, her silver hair like a banner in the wind, her violet eyes glowing bright as flame. She did not come alone. Behind her moved others, wanderers, exiles, broken ones she had gathered in the day she vanished. They came with her not as beasts, but as warriors. The raiders faltered, their charge broken by the sight. The alien woman leapt forward, claws blazing, her new kin striking with her. Marcus fought at her side once more, their strength together a storm, fire and steel, mercy and fury bound as one. The battle raged, but the tide turned. The raiders fell one by one, until silence settled again, broken only by the crackle of dying flames. The people of the colony stood frozen, their eyes wide, their hearts shaken. They had seen the wildest alien woman return not to destroy, but to save. She turned, her chest heaving, her claws dripping. Her violet eyes found Marcus. He stood bloodied, his blade low, yet his eyes steady. He did not speak. He did not need to. Slowly, before the eyes of all, she stepped to him, her head bowed, her voice low but clear. "I was wrong. You did not betray. You gave me mercy, and now I give it back." Marcus breathed deep, his voice steady. "Not beast, not curse, not weapon. You are more. You always were." Her eyes glistened though no tears fell. She knelt before him, not in chains, not in weakness, but in choice. The colony gasped, the leader fell silent, and a new story was born. From that day, They no longer called her untamable. They called her protector. They called her kin. And so the wildest alien woman, once feared by all, became the strongest bond the colony had ever known, not by force, not by fear, but by mercy.